Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM24 Youth Factory. It's episode 55. We continue on with the Johnston's Paint Trophy. This is the quarterfinal proper. I wasn't sure about it in the lead up to this one at the end of the last episode, as we had been in a southern/northern section phase. That ended in the last round. This is now the tournament quarterfinal proper. So 8 teams. 8 teams left, about to be down to 4. Definite chance at silverware with, just a few more games to get past in order to achieve that. So I've brought a decent squad for this one, which is more than I could say for recent appearances. Great play by Ward. Adekunle also a really good job to carry on. McFadden lays it off for the line, sets up Joseph, and Joseph, it's a goal! Oh, Cooper gets a piece of it, but he cannot keep it out. Ward is down injured, but I'm not seeing any sign that it looks like he's milking it for all it's worth. But Joseph didn't think he would take a touch there. Cooper should have done better. He should have actually saved that, but it was certainly well placed in the upper corner. Ward was busy going, "Where's my call?" While the ref was seemingly playing advantage. I didn't see him physically to see the signal, but one would think that was the call. Anyway, so here we are with a 1-goal lead on the road. Our opponent today is Rotherham. Rotherham is they're in our division. It's a League One side versus a League One side. Of course, we currently sit second in the league. They're only 12th, but we're on the road, so that kind of negates the advantages either way. We're a little above them in the league, but we're on the road. I'd say that's fairly offsetting. We'll see what we can do. Wilkinson's way offside, and that is the call. Early on, we've certainly had the better chances and more possession, but we're not the only one getting chances. A red for Ogden in the Wrexham match. Half, or 2 of the 4 quarterfinals are happening today. We'll keep an eye on how that other one goes. I don't know if the winner of that will be our direct opponent in the semifinal, or we'll see a new draw. But you would think with a man down early on at 0-0, Wrexham is probably not going to be coming out on top. But so far today, the wingbacks are cutting out really well, intercepting crosses, and McFadden keeps that one all the way to the line. Wilkinson, not sure if Cooper pushed that away or if it was helped on by the woodwork. The way it came straight back, I would think it might have been the woodwork, but you never know. Ahead Penrees finds Walker through. He chips the keeper and scores. Flag stays down. A couple of the Rotherham players are complaining. It was awfully tight. Let's see what actually happened. You can see that right back. Ooh, that is awfully tight. We were definitely behind the center back closest to us, who was standing his ground. But the right back was further about step and a half behind. You see how he's a couple yards down. And it's close, but it's onside. It's onside by a foot or two. So, yeah, well done there. And it's 2-0 as we head towards halftime. It's looking pretty dang good for the possibility of seeing the semifinal and a chance at some silverware. Outside of a league in quite a while. We had a minor tournament many seasons ago that we won, but we have not won any since, I believe. Lines on a yellow. We'll have to monitor that in the second half for a potential sub, but with a suspension that has seen Joseph get the start today, McCartney's unavailable, so slim pickings on a replacement. Wilkinson finds Walker. Walker turns. Good first touch. Tries to go far on Cooper, but Cooper was open to far. Near post was wide open. It would have been a tap in. Cooper overplayed the far post. That should have been read by Walker. If he had read it, it would be 3-0. But we've already quickly turned this into a 1-hour affair. Let's go ahead and get balanced, and let's trigger the press more often, but do so from a little bit more standard position. So just get behind the ball a little bit. No need to time waste just yet. All right, time to start thinking about subs. Like Wilkinson is pretty pretty tired. I have no left mids, but I do have a Pascal Wiley who we can swap with Walker. And then anybody else? Lines and his yellow card. Okay, I do have Plain. And we'll make a full triple sub here. Adekunle's having a rough day, so let's just go ahead and bring on Phil Hewitt. Once we make those subs, there we go, we'll go ahead and get in tactically and switch Wiley and Walker. And we've got 20 minutes to go with a comfortable 2-0 lead. They have not even managed to put one shot on target. McFadden, the corner. Keeper just gets there, and Walker, what a volley from Walker. That's 3, that'll do it. Mild time wasting will see this game out just fine. No need to play out of the defense anymore. We'll hold shape, slow it down. Wiley chests it down to Walker. Walker in between a teammate and a defender. That defender probably should have stuck a leg out and booted it away. Exeter has now a 2-0 lead against Wrexham, so Exeter is a likely opponent, or at least certainly one of 3 potential opponents if there is another draw. Multiple chances there, but they each get blocked, never comes through. We earn ourselves a corner, and it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. We are in control. They are not getting any highlights right now whatsoever. Still just the 5 attempts, so I think we're all set as she were. Hassel's pretty tired, but we've got Redknapp or Potter. Let's bring on Potter. Not that it's his natural position, but I'll give him the final minute or so if he even gets a chance to get on. Didn't realize we were in a stoppage. I thought we were still at about the 85th or so. Never did get another attempt. That last half hour or so of the game, they had 0 attempts at goal. That's a way to see things out. You get a 3rd goal, you continue to get the chances, and we even went more defensive and it didn't matter. Wrexham did get a consolation goal in their game, but it was 4-1. In fact, actually, that goal pulled it back to 2-1 at the time. The final 4 goals all came in the last 15 minutes. It's not a huge payout or anything, but 60K is decent, especially for a competition that meant absolutely nothing. The later rounds mean a little something anyway. Into the draw, still 6 teams available as we have not gotten through the other day. So Exeter draw home with Salford or Plymouth, who have yet to play. Exeter's League 2 currently, and that means we are going to get either Chelsea or Accrington Stanley. But the big question is home or away, and it is away. So Chelsea under-21's the final under-21s, the final reserve side that's still in the competition, and Accrington Stanley, a League 2 side. I mean, there's a pretty good chance for us to go through, but all of the League 1 sides are going to be away in the semifinals. Moments after the draw is those matchups. We'll see what we're going to wind up with here. Chelsea under-21s via penalties. Richie scoring a penalty, so nothing but penalties for Chelsea under-21s. They were completely unable to, at home, score an open play goal against a League 2 side. Salford and Plymouth also going to penalties. It's Plymouth Argyle who are going to see their way through into the semis. So Chelsea under-21s and Plymouth joining Exeter and ourselves. It is not until March the 7th. We're coming up on the transfer deadline. Do we have another match before then? It's Wednesday, February 1st, and the transfer deadline is the night before. So let's get through. So far, we get plenty of offers, but as we're a League 1 side now, the value of our players has gone up and up and up, and the players that people want to sign are the ones with that higher value. Yet none of the clubs are offering significant value comparatively. But deadline day could be a different matter on that one altogether, as it often is. New contract for Sam Lyons, and I'm really just down to the couple guys that are left. And here's an example. 18K minimum value, potential value up to 350K, but it's still only half of what that actual value is, and that is higher than what we've been seeing, but it's really rather insignificant in the grand scheme of things. It's still well short. Okay, well, here's some news for you. Stoke have signed Herbie Penrees, our former goalkeeper, for 230,000. Eventual deal may rise to 300,000. Leicester bought him for 525,000 back in the day, but he only ended up playing a single game for the club, and we have nothing from this deal. Danger zone striking here. This is twice anything we've been seeing so far. With an offer for Sam Julian, it's still short of his transfer value, and it's got to be more than, not even just 5.2, but it's got to be a good 6.5 million before we pull the trigger on that minimum security part, since we increased the amount a little. But with it still just being the 29th, a few days to go in the window, and already we're seeing this level, it may come. And Sam Julian's the one that we're getting in that territory with, not just from this one offer, but from the thousands that I've gotten for him over the last 24 months or so. Tend to get one almost daily with him, so I suppose really thousands is not much of an exaggeration. It could be something in the neighborhood of about 600 to 700 offers that I've gotten for Sam Julian. Nothing like this though. 3 million had been the previous largest. And of course, the problem with a potential Sam Julian offer is, for one thing, he is our best player on paper. He is our highest potential player on paper. He is still just 21 years of age, though he is about to start costing us more as he ages beyond that. But his backup Koulibaly is League 2 level, not League 1 level. For the under 21s, Gareth Lloyd would probably be handed the starter's job as soon as possible, or part-time, depending on who we go against to get him going, just because of the limited potential of Koulibaly. He'll develop some, but not much. If you give him the starting job, he has 3 starts this year, but I would think long-term you'd want Gareth Lloyd between the sticks, and he's got 50 points of development to go, and he's just a little behind Koulibaly. I'd rather bring him up, but it would hurt. That would definitely hurt our chances this season if we, really lose anyone, but especially if we lose our best player. Final 2 days of the window. And we're hanging in there so far. Not another bid coming in yet. Was that their top bid? Deadline day. We've made it this far. I was so surprised we did not get more offers over the last 2 days. But here we go. Quiet transfer deadline day expected. One would hope. No offers overnight. 8 a.m., 11 p.m. is the deadline, I think. Yes, 11 p.m. Offer for McFadden. Not far from the valuation, but technically it's right at the bottom end of his current eval. Plain. There's another one that's sneaking in towards the higher end. This is the day for it, but it's awfully early in the day. It's just 10 a.m. Seemed pretty inevitable that something was coming. It's 9:15 in the evening, and it is. There's a deal that I'm going to have to accept here. Rules kick in. The good news is he's 4th on the depth chart now. Kalen Plain, 19-year-old defensive midfielder. 600K is his high-end value, and they are coming straight in with about that, and we're going to bump that to at least that and a little more and try to negotiate this a little bit. We'll see if they can loan him back for the rest of the year. I won't hold my breath on that one. I'm prepared to let him go, as Christopher Joseph has already comfortably overtaken him as the primary backup anyway. But with our play style, our defensive mids collect the most yellow cards, the most sending offs, and for some reason we also get a lot of injuries in that department. But we'll see. I want time to pass by. I wouldn't be too upset if we lose them, but at the same time I would. Okay, so they come back. Well, it looks like we have a deal. 650K up front, 300K over time, so roughly $1 million with a little bit for extra after 10 league appearances. But the loan back and the percentage of profit that's profit, not just overall, is in for the next deal in a range friendly that I don't care much about, but that's fine. It's extra cash for the club. And that's extra cash for the club, right? That's money coming in straight away for a player who was surplus to requirements, at least to an extent, squad player in reality. If we got to lose somebody, I'm happy to lose somebody who wasn't as important. And the deal is going through. They've been able to negotiate terms with him in just 45 minutes, and at just half an hour before the deadline. Actually, it looks like they negotiated in just half an hour, and it's going to go through. There you go. There's our done deal. Right now, Derby County is 7th in the championship, so they are that 1 tier above us. We might be there next year with playing as an opponent, but I won't be too worried about him as he's developed a lot slower. I mean, we've seen Christopher Joseph just fly right on by him, and the transfer window is closed. I was not forced into selling Sam Julian, as I feared we might. There's a good chance that we could lose him this summer. He's that hot player. But if we get promoted to the championship, values change once again. He's already got a pretty good value. It's going to take a lot of money for somebody to take him away from us. I really think that one just about worked out. We dodged a bullet. We lose one player this transfer window. But it was, if you're going to lose somebody, that was really one of the best ones you could have lost. Like, he was our 8th man on the bench. So he was our 19th man overall for that. I'm okay with him being gone. With playing in Redknapp, the backups to the backups. He certainly got called on plenty, though. 13 starts, 15 appearances off the bench this season. One in the FA Cup, one in the Carabao Cup, 1 start in the Papa John's Trophy, plus 1 bench appearance. And 16 starts and 16 bench appearances for Kalen playing is a lot. I think some of that is the suspensions. I think a bigger portion of that is the assistant manager liking him possibly a little too much. But his value has jumped to $7 million. I just managed to go on vacation for the entire month of February. We've got a lot to check in on, but I want to go a little deeper into some other areas first because, for one, we're hunting a trophy for the first time in a while, and I wanted to look at our trophy cabinet briefly. And we've got a lot of ones up there, 1-time winners. We've never won a trophy twice. Eventually, that certainly could happen, but one of the key reasons for that is because we started in the 11th tier and we've only ever spent 2 years at a level. We've never spent 3 years at the same level, and only 3 times have we spent 2 years at a level. Even in that opening year, way back at the end of beginning of FM23 when we started the series, for those who joined in somewhere along the way, like say when we transitioned to FM24, we started in the 11th tier with a roster full of current ability 1 players, the entire roster. It was not until our first intake, which, I mean, you see how far we are into the season now, it was middle of March, our first intake, that we started winning games. But the funny thing was, we had managed to win a couple of games and have a draw or 2 with the current ability 1 squad. For one thing, level 11 is really low current ability to begin with. I don't know exactly what the other teams had, but one would assume that their current abilities were 20-something, 30-something, and even though they had a bit of an advantage over us in that current ability side, tactically, they were all amateurs and they didn't have good managers. We came out tactically sound, and even though we were garbage in terms of quality, we managed to squeak out some results. So that when we had that first intake and then started accumulating points, not only did we not finish last, we managed to get all the way up to 5th place in that first season. But then won the title, and then finished 2nd. And that was the first, it's starting to get hard. That was in that 7th tier. We got up to the National League South, finished 4th the next year. Lost in the playoffs, but then won it the year after that, and then started cruising again. But then, here we go again. League 2, 2nd place, the signs were there. But when we finished 20th a year ago, right, it was not when we had finished 4th in the National League South. There was a massive gulf, a massive difference. So I've been very surprised with how this season's going so far. But back to the trophy cabinet for a moment. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those tiers that we have climbed. Which, if you're looking at the promotions real quickly, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 promotions. We have won 6 times. We've finished 2nd twice. The only cups we've won, the only tournaments we won was the Les Phillips Cup and the Walter C. Parson Cup. Now, our level 11 was the St. Piran League, which this whole little area down here is broken up. The Southwest Peninsula League is broken up into its own little tournaments within that league. Just a cool thing that they do. It's their version of, like, say, the League Cup. And we won it twice. We won it the year we won the League West division. We won it the year we won the Peninsula League, that higher division above. There was 2 divisions here, collapsed down to just 1 division there, and we won the equivalent of this tier the year prior because we had that first intake and it was solid. It was solid enough to win, that 10th tier. But we climbed our way on up. We are where we are now. Speaking of club info, checking in on the behind the scenes. Reputation is now 3,800 out of 10,000. We've come a long ways from a reputation of 1. A long ways. Morale's good. Club attendance is 4,481. I did artificially boost that by 500 going into the year to help with FFP to see what sort of difference it would make, and it gave us a little more cushion on how to use FFP, and it's not a major problem now. However, it has grown naturally on its own. We were like 3,000, and I bumped it to 3,500. It's grown to 4,400 on its own. So, or something along those lines. Maybe it was 3,300 and I bumped it to 3,800, but either way, it's gone up by a good 500 this season. Maximum club attendance is solid, but we, aren't getting anywhere near that number on a consistent basis yet. But as you climb the ladder and the reputation grows, the fan base slowly does come with it. Officially, those facilities of ours, for one thing, the new stadium's 15,000. Expansion capacity is 31,000, so it does have the room to get us to the Premier League. And of course, it is brand freaking new. Training facilities, which are now considered great, is a 14 out of 20. Every time you do an upgrade to your training facilities, it just stays even. It skips the odd numbers. So 14 becomes 16, 16 becomes 18, 18 becomes 20. So we have 16, 18, 20. We have 3 upgrades that remain to get perfect training facilities. The corporate facilities in the new stadium. Oh, look at that boost. We were at a 10. That was a 10 when we had 20s in the others, and we had a 1 in the training facilities. The new stadium has come with a level 17 corporate facility, meaning sponsor deals will begin to show up this next year for a few reasons. 1, we're going to be in the championship, hopefully. I'm being optimistic at this point, but hopefully we'll be in the championship. The reputation has been growing, and with much higher corporate facilities. Combination of factors, we should see some new sponsorship deals coming our way, which will help in that FFP issue and help us start getting to championship level salaries. What are our salaries like? We lead the league in goals scored this season with 81 of them, just 5 from corner kicks. 4 red cards, though, is second most in the league. Average attendance is our starting point, 6,390 this season. We lead the league, yet we are 17th in attendance. It's not last, though. Net transfer spend, Wrexham, one of just two clubs to exceed $1 million in Salford City. The other one, we are 18th in the league with a profit of $2 million, which is definitely not the most. Preston has brought in $12 million, but they were also just relegated, if I'm not certain. And wow, let's look at that salary per year. Swansea, $15 million they are spending on salary. Preston, 13. Plymouth, 12. Some of these having come down from the championship. It quickly drops off to $5 million, but it seems to stabilize there, right? The mid-table is $5 million to $3 million, gets you through more than half the clubs. Bottom end, we are not last, but our 2.75 million in salary is just 20th. Whoever said in order to win, you got to spend more. The largest connecting piece between silverware is not transfers, but salary. Players of a certain quality demand a certain salary. Players of a certain quality are going to perform. Doing what Chelsea's done, spending cajillions of dollars, doesn't equate into wins. Over the last couple of years, since they just went off the deep end, they were already a massive spender. They were already the second or third biggest spender in the Premier League, as it were. They already fired more coaches they'd been through more coaches than damn near the whole rest of the league combined over the last handful of years, which is not true. That's an exaggeration, but they've still gone through more coaches than anybody else. What did they lack when they did all these massive transfers? They lacked quality players. They spent tons of money to bring people in, but what they brought in wasn't necessarily quality. Most of them were not that good. They've really only found one that has gone extremely well in Cole Palmer. They got one out of 80,000 signings, or 50, whatever it was in the last 2 years. I don't think 50 is much of an exaggeration. I think they got at least 40 players in over the last 2 years, and Cole Palmer is the only one who looks to have quality out of that entire insanely large group. 20th in salary, and we find ourselves also the only one who's like secure besides Preston, which is surprising with Preston, right? That huge salary, but what did they do? They made $12 million in sales. But they also find themselves second in the league, so there you go. There's your majority top teams in the league. There's your majority bottom teams in the league down by us. 18th, 20th, 23rd, 24th. Ourselves, 9th, 14th, 11th, 12th, 8th, 22nd, 21st. You got some teams that are punching above their weight, but none of them are looking like contenders to go up. The contenders to go up are all in the upper echelon. The only ones that are outside of that 5 million range, right? All of the top 5, besides ourselves, and just, the next team, the 6th and 7th, are there. Well, let's look at what we did for that month of February. We opened with an away draw to Swansea, with Rossini getting sent off in half an hour. We had 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. We led 2-1. That sending off, Whittle equalized, and they never could come away with 3 points. So actually, I think we did a pretty damn good job to get a point on that one. Not only were we on the road at one of the bigger clubs in the league, club that I'm a fan of, by the way. I'm a healthy Swansea fan. I love the way that their play style when they were in the Premier League, and I grew fond of them. Fond is just the word for it, though. It's not my team, but it's a team I'm definitely fond of. But we bounced back from that disappointing performance with a 6-1 thumping of John Green's team, AFC Wimbledon. Wrexham at home, Archie Jones penalty, but it's pretty damn clear from the ratings that we were the better team. Defense played extremely well, meaning probably for Sam Julian to have a good rating and a high rating like that and be the player of the match, it means that Wrexham did do decently offensively, but we seem to have bossed the midfield as well. So I'm not sure. Sounds like it was an open game. It should have resulted in a lot more goals than 0 from open play. But we headed on the road again, third time in 4 games, and we lost to Barnsley. We went down pretty early in that one and never could battle back. In fact, actually, we started to show up. We made it a game at 2-1 and turned right around and pushing in the late minutes where you can clearly see we never looked very good in that one. Sam Julian had a rough day, so they probably didn't have much XG. They got a penalty along the way. Rotherham played them once again. Lanahan Penrith with a brace and a 2-0 victory. And then losing at home to Birmingham hurts. Again, penalties. Penalties hurting us lately. We've given up quite a few of them over the month of February. A tight victory against, I think, a weaker Tranmere side. Tranmere is one of the bottom sides. Not the kind of performance you would hope for. Did we have a weak squad or something? No. That is not a weak squad. I mean, it's not the strongest squad we've ever gone with. Adekunle coming off the bench. Wilkinson coming off the bench. Let's see, was Lanahan Penrith the 11th or 12th man? He's 11th. So Lanahan Penrith had a really bad day. Poor rating from him. Apparently Tranmere shut him down. But with 4 wins and a draw in the month of February, that's not a great record. That's not what we did in January. It's not what we did in December. I think even November was a little stronger than our month of February. That was a weaker month as far as the calendar goes, but we have gone from second to first. Barnsley, that was one of our losses, was it not? Okay, we've played 38. The 2 teams behind us have played 36. The 4 teams behind them have played 37. There's some games in hand around us. Lanahan Penrith is the Golden Boot leader by 3 goals right now. Stulich is still top of the average rating charts. However, Archie Jones has matched him now at a 7.36, something we hadn't seen earlier. Sam Julian's still leading the shutout charts. And yeah, we're not leading the yellow cards at least. Anyway, 78 points from 38 played. We have already exceeded last season's total with 8 matches to go. Easily. We surpassed it quite a while ago. We've already survived relegation, and a lot of contracts that were signed either last year or this year involved minor bonuses for avoiding relegation. Those have already been paid out. That's how far ahead we are in those regards. So what sort of battle do we have on our hands? Let's ignore for the fact that we've played 38 for a moment, because we need to compare to a more realistic number, and all the teams around us are at 36 or 37. So 10 matches to go. If they've played 36, there's still 30 points to be had. So anyone with 48, still in touching distance. Anyone in the 50s, though, we're not going to lose our final 8 matches when we've only lost 6 all season. Might lose some. Count on us dropping some points, but not that many. So I'd say Doncaster at 58, pretty damn safe from them. They're the last ones that maybe, just maybe. Blackpool only have 9 to go and 56 points. Like, Blackpool's too far down. So looking now at the top 7, I think that's the group. Wrexham, 37 played, 64 points, and a good goal differential. They could easily surpass Birmingham. But you see our tough games. Swansea we drew. Birmingham we lost to. Barnsley I think we lost to. Plymouth I think we won. So a win, a draw, and a couple losses of those playoff zone teams. But does that also mean that we have all of our toughest games behind us? Obviously, we do not control our own destiny right now. There's enough to go in the season that you don't even have to worry about that just yet. The last 4 or 5 games is where you want to worry about whether you control your destiny or not. But Barnsley, 2 games, could take 6 points. That's 76. So we do control our fate against them, but Preston, with 2 games in hand and just 3 points behind, they'd have to get at least a win and a draw to pull ahead, as we have the best goal differential in the league, and we have certainly performed more consistently than any other team. More or less, we deserve our position, but Preston's been a hard one to chase, and as we already noted, Preston has 10 million more in salary than we do. So March, holy crap, March is a nice light month. It's a good chance to get healthy. I don't know what dangers we have in that. We'll look at that in a second. But Shrewsbury, last in the league, but we're on the road. Chelsea under 21's on the road for the Papa John's Trophy semifinal. Wigan on the road, they're 15th, not easy points, and this is where everybody else is going to catch up with us, right? As we go through the month of March, guaranteed that the other clubs are going to be playing catch up. But easy so far. We then have home away, home away, home away, 3 home, 3 away for the final month. So we've already played more home than we've played away. We've had extra games, and they've been home matches. But March is an easy calendar. What about April? Burton at home, that's doable. FC Halifax on the road, that's very doable. Blackpool at home. Doncaster on the road, that's not going to be an easy one. Preston at home on the penultimate day of the season could be a title decider, and Plymouth away on the final day of the season. So we have a very easy run where we could win every game or close to it over the final 6 league matches leading up to the literal final 2 matches, where it could be all left to play for or not. If they have struggles along the way at all, Preston, the one you obviously worry about the most, the giant salary, the performance has been there. Swansea is lagging behind a little bit in comparison, but that's all your big teams, all your big salaries, all your big performers, and Preston, who's led damn near every day of the season until we've just passed them up. But technically, it's still theirs right now. Injury table, just one. We just went through that crazy busy month, and Sam Lyons, with a minor injury where he's returning to full fitness in 5 days, is it. Dang. No wonder we performed decently well. We're just coming off that match, though, so a lot of fatigue. Akunle needs a rest. That's typical. He's almost always asking for that, but man, oh man, are we looking good. On the development side, 110 plus, meaning solid League One, not just League One. I mean, we're League One status down to like Rossini or Joseph, definitely by Walker, and then you're into Championship for the top 4, or Hewitt and Webb, maybe Lanahan, Penreese, edge of Championship versus very good League One. Elsewhere, Whitehouse, Barlow, Spong, Little, Rolston, lots of 80 pluses in our reserve side, and where we had none a while ago, we do have some 80 pluses now in the youth ranks, and we've got an intake coming in a couple weeks. Teams performing ridiculously well. We continue to have really good shape, really good morale. McCartney's at quite good. He was ticked off. He got fined after a nasty sending off red card with multiple game suspension. He was mad that he got fined for that one. But training ratings are good, really, outside of just him. What a difference a year makes. All right, folks, well, we're heading into that final stretch of the season with intake coming soon, our semifinal of that Johnston's Paint Trophy coming soon, and what should be an easy stretch for the next 6 games or so. And we need to see if Preston can slip up, back off, give us a cushion. Likewise, Barnsley, Plymouth, Swansea, Birmingham, if they can all back off just a little bit, lose the occasional match here and there over that next sequence over the month of March. If they drop points during there, we'll find ourselves very quickly looking at promotion and possibly a league title, which would be very unexpected from 20th a year ago. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.